It's like, how in the heck are you doing that with the Glock? They triggers suck.
Yeah.
And I said, well, not this one. I said, I did some work on this. He goes, really? Let me check it out. So he checks it out, and he was, he was like, he looks at me, and he looks at the gun, and he goes, bro, you should start a business doing this.
Really?
And it was like, ding, 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 ding. Look, 0.69.
Damn.
So the first question I see is from Owen.300ZX. I think this fits well with the video we just shot. When's the new shop opening?
Well, it's opening yesterday.
And this is my first Glock. Groupings at my range is at 20 yards and 80 yards.
Okay.
At 20 yards, all my other 9mm, I can do groupings like that. Oh yeah.
See what I'm saying? That dot just. So I would say it opened November 6th. Yesterday was literally the first day, Monday. And you know what? It's crazy because we were only 6 days off. We were supposed to we were supposed to open up the 1st, but and anyone out there that knows anything about contracting knows that is very, very close to the projected date. Usually it's weeks away. So yeah.
You've been eyeballing this place for a while?
This place?
Yeah.
No, we were literally, it was like July 5th, and my wife's always kind of on Zillow. We're always looking, but not looking, but prices are so ridiculous down here. It's like unreal, bro.
Expensive?
Stupid. Oh, yeah, like, this place went up on the market on July 5th. We call our realtor up, because we figure it's a slow day, because it's the day after, the 4th, everyone's chilling.
Right.
And she said, that looks like there's a lot of interest in it. You want to go out and look at it? So we're like, and we were literally laying in bed in the morning, just kind of like looking through things. And I said, yeah, let's go. So we came and we met the owners, and we hit it off really well with the owners. It was a younger couple. They had 2 kids. They had some horses, and typically the owners aren't around when the real estate agent
Right.
had her kid. It was like it was just, Anyway, at the end of the day, we're here for 3 hours BSing with the family. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then so as we were, I put an offer in that day. I said, well, and I gave them their asking price because, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So you want to keep it country, So with that said, they said, look, we're going to take, and their realtor was like, no, take the other offer. And they're like, no, like we met this family. They're all about, what we're all about, same values, same kind of ethics.
Right.
And so, yeah, so we got it. Closed within 30 days. I mean, it's just been on. All right, but we don't know. Have her pull that and just see how her finger lands on that and see if she likes it.
Assuming it's like out of battery, like you were saying, like on some of your videos.
Yeah, with the comp. Now the reset is what I'm talking about.
That's a much better reset than it was.
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna shoot mine.
So, I was a massage therapist.
Really?
In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
How did Johnny Glocks get started?
I'm trying to think of a good word. Okay, let's put it this way. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with my life at one time. I was a rock and roll musician, and I was dating a girl in New York City, and decided flying back to Pittsburgh, and because I was always a musician, I was always traveling. I never really had to have an occupation other than like waiting tables or pouring coffee or something. That's what you did when you weren't touring. So basically, I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? So my idea was to take one of those tests that tell you what you're supposed to be. Like, hey, you'd be great at singing telegrams. Like, who knows what it's going to be. So, but then I was on the plane and I had the yellow pages because I really didn't even know what kind of jobs were out there, you know. And I'm like, and it just sounds goofy, but it's the truth, you know, because I'm like, okay, what can I do? Like, yeah, bricklayer, attorney, blah blah blah, and it's all in the yellow pages. Back when and there's probably some people that don't even know what the yellow pages are, you know. So I have a physical book. I'm not scrolling, and I just say, Lord, just tell me what I'm supposed to do, and I get that yellow page and I go, and it's a thick book for those of you who don't know, and I go, and I open it up and I look down and it said massage therapist. And so that's what I did. I became a massage therapist. I did that for about a decade, and I taught classes. I got really into it. Did seminars, did a bunch of stuff with insurance, and then I moved down here to Florida in like 2010. And still, I was always working with guns, you know, doing friends' guns and stuff like that, and some other things. So I was always an enthusiast, just with the Glock though. That's always just been my jam. I never really had it for any other gun, because it was just so simplistic. Like, you know, that was the thing about it. And you know, I say it's a seemingly simple gun. It's easy to put together and take apart, but other than that, like, you have to really kind of know what you're doing if you're going to navigate and get into working on these things. And believe me, I've had plenty of them come across my bench where I'm just like, what the heck? But then you learn, and then you seem really smart the next time that you have that issue, and you're like, oh, that's just the blah, blah, blah. And they're like, man, this guy knows his stuff. But just like anything, it's just hard, you know, it's just repetition and working and stuff like that. So long story short, the massage therapy stuff wasn't doing too good down here in Sarasota because it's either feast or famine. And so, you know, I have kids, and we just bought the house, and season was over. You know what I mean? That's what happens down here from like October. We moved down in August, and I was just like, and you're experiencing that too. Mike's from Seattle. And so you move here, I moved here from Pittsburgh. The heat is just oppressive. Even, this is the hottest summer on record too, just so you know that. It's just oppressive. So I'm like, what in the heck? You know, so we went to the beach a lot and stuff like that. But so the massage therapy started, you know, after the snowbirds went home, started to get really slow. And I'm like, man, I got to do something else. And so shooting for me has always been cathartic. You know what I mean? Like, it's always something and my wife laughs about it because she's like, you have like a gun blowing off in your hands. Like, why is that like calming to you? You know? And I'm like, it just is. There's something about it. I love to shoot. And so, you know, I was just there, and I was shooting, and I was at a range, and you know, I'm a pretty good shot. I was putting holes through holes at like 20 yards. The guy comes up to me as an instructor. He goes, hey man, I never met you before. You know, I'm an instructor here. He goes, you got a Glock. He's like, how are you doing that with a Glock? You know what I mean? Because the Glocks are notoriously known for bad triggers. And so I said, this is different. Like I said, I did some things to this. I did this trigger job to it, and did this and took this away, and, you know, try to explain it to him. He said, do you mind if I shoot it? And I said, yeah, go ahead. And so, you know, he, you know, got his grip and he put a couple down range, and he looks at the gun, and he looks at me, and he goes, you should make this a business. It was just that simple. Like, he said, you should make this a business. And I'm like, I would have never thought of that. It just was bells went off, you know? And so my feasibility study was, I had Google, and I'm like, gun stores near me. And I looked from Tampa to Naples, which is like a 3-hour run. And it was something like 240 gun stores right on Tamiami Trail. And I'm like, I have a background in selling. I used to sell home improvements, like knock on people's door, like, you know, in the middle of nowhere, like, hey, you know, would you like some new windows, and would you like siding? So I could pretty much sell ice to an Eskimo. And so I took those skills of knowing how to, you know, cold call and sell, and I, you know, spent a lot of time developing these triggers to make sure they were safe and they were performance, and they did what I wanted them to do. And then I would literally did it just like territory. I would go from gun shop to gun shop to gun shop with my little thing of little case, and I'd let the guys feel the triggers, and some of them would want to do it on consignment. Some of them would just buy them right there, and I had like a nice little thing set up. I made it super, super, super easy. That's what you got to do. You got to make things super easy for people. So I made it super easy for them to become like a Johnny Glock dealer to sell my triggers. And I must have had about 30 stores underneath my belt. You know, things were going good. And then my wife got pregnant with our third child, and it was like just bad first trimester. Like, you're not going anywhere. I need you around. Our kids were homeschooled anyway, so yeah. So Dad was landlocked, and that's when I had to start doing web sales, which was so bizarre because I didn't know anything about, and Mike, and it's anyone that knows me can attest to my savvy with tech. I'm so bad at it. It's unreal. So basically, I had a friend of mine help me with a WordPress website, and it just said call. That's how you would get a trigger off me. You have to call me, and then I would send you a PayPal invoice, and I'd have a conversation. But it became like a niche, and because so many people wanted some different one-off things, my skill sets it just got really, really, really established because, this guy wants it to feel this way. This other guy wants it to break here. This guy's got big hands. This guy's got this. So I spent probably about 3 or 4 years making these one-off triggers, and I was doing my YouTube channel. And so that led into, people that are, special operators, stuff like that, SWAT team, watching those videos and then them calling me. And so I had a really good, relationship with those communities. And when you hit that level, it's a different kind of commitment. You know what I mean? Not that every trigger and every gun you have to have the mindset that it has the ability to take life. But, the odd chance of me and you as civilians getting into a gunfight is slim and none. These are people who are definitely getting into gunfights. So there is no margin of error whatsoever. They have to be 100%. And that's one of the things that, the guys that have always worked for me, I've had to fire a couple of people because they couldn't put it through their head. And you could see it. I'd say you have to imagine an officer going up to the door and having to tell a mother, a wife, that a sister or whatever, that or even a female cop, her husband died because Johnny Glocks trigger failed. That's the mentality. And it still puts chills on my arm because that's literally the dedication we have around here. That's why every trigger we test, even because the shop got bigger, we're still super tight knit. And like I said, my boys work for me, and so they have my work ethic and they have my mental attitude about it as well. So, that's a pretty long story. You said take as long as I wanted. So, and I never told this story really because just on a couple local shows like a Front Sight Press or something like that for friends. But yeah, that's pretty much the story, man.